should a company that specializes in knife sharpeners stick their toe into making actual knives? Well, the answer is absolutely yes, at least when it comes to work sharp, because I have here not only the automatic CPM 3V RMX, but I also have the Drop Point Blackout Edition M390 variant as well. And guys, there is a reason, now having used these extensively. I mean, I have gone to town with these. I have carried them extensively. This isn't just a brief overview tabletop. We're gonna go in depth today after several months of owning and using these tools. These are truly innovative, and that's not just something that, you know, catch your attention or whatever. I haven't seen, having reviewed pocket knives for over a decade now here on YouTube, anything quite like what Work Sharp did with this series is delivering at a certain value point and the astonishing capabilities in not only manual format, but any version will also ship in an automatic option that you can change out for yourself. So in today's video, we're gonna totally unpack all of it for you, really show you what I like, some details that you need to definitely be aware of before you pull the trigger, so that you can determine for yourself if it makes sense and it's right up your alley, or it's better go with just a totally different design altogether. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in and have some fun. So we're gonna begin with the action, which is wildly unique. Each model, regardless if you go drop point with M390 or reverse Tanto with 3V, is gonna ship in this way. It will come to you when you open the box in manual format with a push button lock that you push. It runs on ball bearings, it's nice and smooth, and has a manual action. But in the box, you're not only gonna get a whole secondary set of hardware, so that if you were to lose something, with including bearings, springs, pivot, all that stuff, pivot screw, all those attributes, but you also get a tool to then swap out this integrated mechanism right here. So you just unscrew, you can get it to focus right there, and it comes apart. You take off this pivot and you load it up with the automatic spring-loaded feature, and now your manual tool is a push button auto, and you do that yourself if you choose. And in fact, there's actually two tension settings. You can do light, but who wants that? I went with the nice snappy action, and you can choose between those, and at any point in time, you can swap out the pivot. It takes about 5 minutes once you get the hang of it, and you can put it right back in and turn it back into a manual anytime you want. It has everything included. I have never seen anyone do that before. It offers a stripped down capability that is super fast, streamlined, and an option in deployment that is radically innovative and unique. But they had to get creative in the way the manual lock operates that not everyone's a fan of. Now, when it comes to the automatic, it works exactly like any other. You have that push button right there. You push it, releases the blade, fires out, and then you have to push the button to then close it. Works exactly like any other automatic, like what I have right here. This is a ZT. Boom, you push the button, fires out, you press the button, and then that releases the lock so you can close it up. But in the manual format, the RMX does not operate exactly like most other push button locks, say like a Civivi Conspirator. And I'll show you how that mechanism works momentarily, but I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is LA Police Gear. And just like Worksharp, they've recently released an innovative pack that gives you 3 ways to carry your gear. It's the LA Police Gear Terrain Stealth Chest Pack, so you can carry it like a chest rig, which you've been following the channel. I really appreciate having my gear up high when I go hiking and backpacking, and being able to access different pieces of gear and equipment on the fly. But you can then convert it into a waist pack, so you're not just trapped carrying it only on your chest. You can absolutely carry it as a crossbody bag, fanny pack, front pack, whatever you want to do. And then finally, it also has hidden PALS webbing, so you can run it through MOLLE and then attach it to, say, a plate carrier or your favorite backpack, and gives you a third and final option to organize and carry your gear. And it includes a hook and loop organizer for the main compartment that you can pull off and remove, and a holster adapter pass-through as well. where most bags like this, you're gonna have to buy that extra. And with YKK zippers and 400 denier polyester, it really is an innovative way to carry your gear and equipment in multiple positions. And with several different color combinations to choose from, it's not gonna cost you an arm and a leg. So I'm gonna have a link popping up. It's in the description box below, along with my exclusive 10% off promo code. You can actually apply site-wide to your purchase. So I invite you to check it out and organize your gear for all of your adventures. Well, in order to allow the automatic function to operate, the manual function has to somewhat work the same. This blade will not come out unless the lock is depressed. And I know for some people that was kind of a learning curve and didn't really care for that. So there are really no thumb studs, cutouts, or anything like that, because that's not how you have to deploy the blade in the manual format. You push the button and that automatically releases the blade. Now, because it's on bearings, it's super smooth, just a little wrist flick and you can get it out. You could obviously do two-handed pinch, pull, or if you're really good, you can kind of do like a backflip like that. It operates basically like a Milwaukee fastback. If you own one of those, you use the button, it's locked. I can't get it to close. I push the button, closes into place, but now it's locked. It's not gonna come out unless I push the button. Because I own a lot of Milwaukee fastbacks and similar designs, it was an easy learning curve, and within a minute or two, I got it down pat. But leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that locking and deploying mechanism, and is that something that doesn't bother you at all, or is that kind of a deal breaker? Now we gotta begin with the full flat grind CPM 3V Interverse Tanto, because not only do I love CPM 3V, it's one of the toughest steels around, but I also really like how aggressive that blade shape is. Wow. Golly, dude. It's hard to argue with those results right there. Wow. That is straight push cutting through manila rope. Look at that. That's one of the best blade geometries I've tested this year. Right there. Right there, guys. Dang. Wow. Look at that action. Just cutting through, dude. I mean, if slicing is the name of the game, that right there, that's what you're looking for. That particular grind and that particular tip. I know people say it's a scalpel all the time, but it truly is a scalpel. If you like that type of really wicked, fine, slicing, slashing type of cuts, this is the blade shape you want to go with, because it starts at that 0.09 stock thickness, but tapers really quick to that super fine tip, and the grind geometry. It is a workhorse in the finer tasked arena. And as an added benefit, you're going to get an HRC of 60 to 62, which is relatively high for 3V, meaning you're gonna have better wear resistance than a lot of your fixed blades that might have lower HRCs. But for the type of knife that it is, I didn't see any, brittleness or issues like that. Now, obviously the tip is extremely fine. Any steel will break if you crank on it, but I absolutely stabbed with this thing and it held up, sticking it in a 2x4 under a lot of force. The drop point is definitely more of a classic design. It has a lower flat or saber grind. It's still gonna have the same stock thickness, but it doesn't taper until the very last little bit, just meaning that it's a little bit thicker. I mean, it's still a very thin blade, but thicker than the 3V full flat version. And so what that means is you're gonna have a little bit more tip strength and durability. You're gonna have a little bit of a thicker, broader grind, better for more broad cuts like wood cutting, or you're having to go through heavier material. It's going to give you a little bit more force behind the edge than a very thin blade sometimes has. And you won't slide off certain material when you are engaging with it. It's still very slicey, but not on the level of the 3V. And it's also going to be sporting the same 60 to 62 HRC. Now, M390 is a true stainless, 3V is not. I've never really had a problem with 3V rusting or anything like that. And leave a comment, especially if you own one, which blade shape and steel choice makes more sense for you and how you carry and use your folders. And now to the final piece of the puzzle, the handle. And we'll start off with those pocket clips, which are really well executed. They're tip up, loop over, easy to swap right or left, so this is absolutely an ambidextrous blade. Now, what's wild is that the handle is a single piece of milled magnesium. It's an integral magnesium piece. And when you look at all the housing and changes, I mean, that is wild. That is crazy. I'm not aware if somebody else is doing that. And the engineering that goes into doing something like that is really outstanding. So for a company to just do all of these things right out the gate, that started with knife sharpeners and just went straight into this, is really, when you think about it, mind-boggling. There's no like 2.0 and like, yeah, we're working on it and we got to kind of work some kinks out and you know, it's like, what in the world is happening here that they were able to execute this? And it's really hats off to them straight out of the gate, because, you know, you got flow through construction, you've got the jimping, and honestly, so with my large size hands, I have full real estate out the back there on both models. The handles are identical. And you can absolutely use the blade without having to engage the choil. Now, both of these knives do have a choil. I believe that is partly due to the way the mechanism and the closing aspects work, that they need that, from what I can tell. It needs to have something like that. Me personally, it's not an issue. Would I have preferred these to not have a choil and then come up with some other way to, you know, just extend the handle slightly? Yes, I mean, that would be my preference on a pocket knife, but I have Spydercos, and if you own a Spyderco, that's exactly how this fits. Fills out the hand perfectly, and you're able to use it, but you're not forced into using it. You can absolutely do tons of work back here because of the size of the handle. Now, the handles also have some good shoulder transitions and things like that, but it is a little blocky compared to something like, again, a Conspirator or something like that. You know, this is a little bit more organic because you can, you know, mill handle scales and do different things. It's just a little bit different. This doesn't create any hot spots, but it definitely has some like Tron vibes to it, even though I fully am engaged, locked in, and even in the choil can absolutely use the tool that way as well. And it is funny, when this first came out, there were some people saying like, well, magnesium, you know, will burn right through an engine block. But in order to ignite magnesium, the knife, like everything is dead on fire and melted and disintegrated by the time this would ignite and then cause some sort of problem in your pocket. So it's a non-issue, but that was kind of a humorous thing when the knife first dropped. So now to the price, because they use global source parts and it's bench built, is what they say, in Oregon, which I think is great. They're sourcing the best materials that they can from different locations and then putting it all together right here in the USA with US workers. And when I first saw these, I wasn't really, again, it was just kind of like I was so focused on some other projects and things that I didn't really put it together until this fall. I thought this was a couple $100s, and I mean, in some ways, rightly so. This thing currently starts at $140 for the base models. $140 for just the basic colorways, and then if you want the special colorway like the blackout, I think that's $150 last I checked. That is insane. They have really outdone themselves, and I can't wait to see what Worksharp comes up with next. I do appreciate them sending these samples for me so I could test. I've had them for months now, finally getting around to testing them out for myself, showing you what is good about it, maybe some considerations you need to have before you jump on whatever the next drop is, because they are currently only available at Worksharp, and the batches come and go super, super fast because they work. So that's me, that's my mileage. I hope it's been fun, entertaining, giving you the data that you need to determine if the RMX is the right tool for you or not. If you own one, how has it been performing for you? Want to know. Always appreciate feedback from you guys, the users, and appreciate you hanging with me today. Till next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. I'll see you out there.